So let's get into one of the most anticipated games of 2011, Gears of War 3. Finally came out. Oh my god. I'm already gonna spoil the ending of this and say that I'm giving this game like 14 thumbs up. Okay, let's get to the story. Gears of War 3 pretty much picks up after the events of Gears of War 2 a couple of months later. We once again join forces with Marcus, Dom, and the rest of the crew, and new characters. For the first time, we actually get to play as Anya. Oh my god, she's hot. This is Epic Games' final dance with the cog.
There's a fourth one coming.
We know there's gonna be a fourth one coming because, you know, who does not love Gears? This is, in my opinion, the most emotional Gears. Goes into the characters. Cole, I've never got to really know him as a character. It's kind of just a loud-mouthed black guy who played sports. But in this game, you actually get to know him.
Opposite of him.
We actually get to know the character. They explore them. It makes you really feel attached for a game that this is the third sequel to make you love the characters more.
Okay, he actually meant to say the second sequel. Definitely a stronger focus on character development.
Yes.
I wouldn't say you get emotionally attached because
really?
I don't care about Sam or Anya. I just want to play as Marcus, Dom, Cole, and Baird. There's some new characters involved. Jace and Anya and...
Okay, see, I didn't get Jace. I did see the point.
While Cole, Train, and Baird are doing one thing, you'll play as some replacement Gears. If you've seen advertising for the game, it does say Brothers to the End, so it is the final chapter of this portion of the Gears of War universe. It's the strongest story of the three games. Yeah. Story in Gears is not really the strong point, and I haven't really played for that. You'll see hints at stuff that's appeared in the first two games, namely Marcus's father, from the main antagonist behind the locust threat. I was surprised the ending, they closed it, like everything just, you know, ties up neatly. Yeah, Epic, you guys made a semi-decent story. Wow, good job.
This game really just drive the emotional aspect of the characters. You see a whole new side of Cole. You see the way this war has affected the character, the cogs.
Dom, he's like growing up vegetables and has a beard and stuff. That's not how it looked on. The third chapter of the game is my point, the best one. The most insane, you're just doing the most random stuff. Something happens at the third chapter where I was very surprised they did it there and not at the end of the game, because I think it would have had more emotional impact, but it kind of sets the tone for the final two chapters because you're like, okay, that just happened and now we need to do something about it.
I put the game down for a good 2 minutes and said,
and then he called me like, did that really happen?
Yeah, what?
Could I have done something about it? And I was like, sorry man. He's like, oh.
You will feel like, really? But, you know, you can tell that this was a smart decision made by the game developer.
Yeah, get you involved, absolutely. Yeah. Story-wise, strongest of the three.
Freaking perfect.
But I think everything else about the game, you know, trumps the story, but let's get into that next. The second sequel in a very popular series. Everyone here with an Xbox 360 has played Gears at one point. The core gameplay hasn't changed much. The single player in particular is about refinement. It just feels better. There are a lot of new weapons that are involved that kind of change the way the game is played. You have the one-shot, the sawn-off shotgun, which we'll get into during multiplayer. There's new enemies, really cool vehicle segments. But as core, it's still jump, duck, cover to cover from chest-high walls, pop some fire, run, and you know, the roadie run and all that. Go from checkpoint to checkpoint. It's really violent. They went kind of overboard with the executions now. Every gun has execution. The retro lancer kill. The chainsaw has a on the floor execution. It really gets crazy. They're sick and they're amazing. So yep, core game is fantastic. The ending of the game kind of jumps from regular pop and gun shooter to vehicle segments, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. The vehicle segments in the Gears games have always been the parts I'm just like, because the first game, that first vehicle segment with what's the car called again? Whatever, it was fine.
It's killed, you know, vehicle segments for me in any Gears game, even though in the third one I will admit that they're a lot better.
Come on, with the Vulcan cannon, you're going through the highways, blowing up and stuff.
They are a lot better, but I still prefer being on foot. You will see a lot of refinement, not just the more obvious things, but things that are more subtle. For example, in this game, the Gears do run faster, do feel lighter, they don't feel as glued to the wall.
The controls, they've been subtly tweaked, but it just feels better.
Oh yeah, it feels perfect.
So gameplay, single player is fantastic. This is the first game that you can do 4-player co-op. Definitely advised to play the main game on Insane with 4 players because it's that much harder. What they did with this is they also introduced an arcade mode. Experience is tied to everything in this, and obviously you want to increase your experience. You unlock new characters, new weapons, new character skins, and this experience can go to increasing your character level. Obviously the main way to increase your experience is to play multiplayer. Now the big thing about Gears of War 3 multiplayer is that it has dedicated servers. Gears 1 and 2 you had host advantage. Gears 2 the matchmaking was the worst ever and it wasn't fixed to a year later. Thanks to the beta they did a good job here. For me, I don't know about you, but this is the best multiplayer experience I've ever had. You have all the standard modes, the team deathmatch, execution, King of the Hill. Horde mode has a brand new revision we'll talk about in a second, and then there's beast mode, which is kind of the reverse, locust killing waves of humans. humans. But multiplayer in this game, I've been playing this non-stop. It's fantastic.
I will agree the multiplayer in this game is fantastic, it's great. For me, multiplayer, gameplay-wise, it's starting to show its age. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but like,
Yeah, it is.
first gears and second gears where I could not stop playing. This time around, I've reached my limit of how much I actually want to play.
It's really bad.
The second game, I didn't play that much of the Horde. This time around, as you play, you do gain currency, which you can use to unlock either weapons, ammunitions, or barricades and things like that. I'm sure you want to cover this.
As you can see, he doesn't know what he was talking about. There's a whole protect the tower defense schema behind this. You gain currency by killing enemies, meeting certain tasks. You create razor wire, automated turrets. You can get those new mech suits called silverbacks. Every 10th level now is a boss stage. Horde mode is fantastic. On top of all that, there's this whole ribbon system, medals. They really got the multiplayer right in this. Even after you beat the main campaign, which is probably 8 or 9 hours on regular, 10-15 on insane. There's DLC coming and the multiplayer is gonna keep you preoccupied for a long time. It's just really well done.
Started the game out like me. I started off, I played single player alone, campaign alone.
On casual.
No, I played it on hardcore.
Casual.
Hardcore.
Casual with the easy mutators for infinite ammo and
Hardcore all by myself.
Right.
So yeah, you play this thing hardcore all by myself, and then you can go back and play it co-op, which actually changed the game because when you play this game co-op, it does get harder. So really, this game has a lot for you to go back to. So all in all,
there's the DLC, the seasons pass. People have been playing Gears of War 3 for a long time.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Let's get into the AV of Gears of War 3. In terms of graphics, when the game starts off, pretty much it's a reflection of the first game, where in the first game you're in a cell, camera goes down and you see Marcus. If you compare both games, it's like...
Yeah, it's last gen versus this gen. The single most impressive thing about this is the lighting. Gears of War 3 actually has color versus the older games. The Gears now, they have like lighter suits, you can see skin and stuff. Lighting, it just makes it look so much better. In fact, multiplayer in this looks better than the Gears 2 single player content. Just the visuals, the environments, the animation.
Anya.
She's covered in like heavy armor gear.
Yeah, she's wearing that and still... Yeah.
What I want to tell him is that you can actually unlock the civilian version of Anya, I think, playing multiplayer to level 40 or something.
What?
But he'll never do that because he has to go play Sonic on casual. Act 3, crazy from night to day, sandstorms, you're visiting destroyed Saren City by the hammer strikes, people that have been turned to ash.
That one segment of the game was probably the most beautiful segment of the game. I mean, like, it's not only...
Because he went and he shot every single one of them.
I did.
Yeah.
You get to that segment and it's so dark and dreary. You do feel like something happened here. You feel the pain and the sorrow of the people who've died and then when
He's touched.
It's a Gears game. I know it's an action game, explosions everywhere, but I was actually touched by this game. I'm not ashamed to say it. I like the fact that...
He told me he was touched.
I said... Oh, Dom, there's a major change in Dom.
His beard, man.
You
got
can't
the
say
garter
subtle.
gloves, you know. You can see age, you can see, you know, they're just up to, you know.
They're tired.
They're tired, they're stressed, they want to get done with. 360's life cycle is coming to an end soon, and this is probably the game you want to show because it's just, wow. So many moments where I was just like, goddamn, and then I died because I was focused on the game. Visually, fantastic.
Stunning.
Music, typical Gears 3 orchestra pumping you up, somber. The Mad World theme is used really well. Notably, you have Ice-T in this game. He plays a very small part, but he's pretty annoying. Griffin, you're just a terrible character. I hate you. Everything else, I mean, the Epic, he did a fantastic job and all that stuff. We've kind of gone to this already, but obviously you have the main single player campaign, which is the first thing you should do, help you increase your multiplayer level, unlock all sorts of skins and all that. And then there's the multiplayer itself. They did a really good job with the stat tracking in this. You can track everything you've done, how many kills you've got with which weapons, what you're lacking to get onto the next level. And then there's this whole insane thing with ribbons, you know, for doing certain tasks in a match or in the game. Onyx medals or medals in general. If you're an achievement whore like he is, not at all actually, you're gonna be spending a long time doing a lot of these. I wouldn't say boring events, but 25,000 reloads. Multiplayer is where you play Horde, you play Beast Mode, which is really cool. There's all these new maps coming in. Season Pass. This is a thing that's here to stay. A lot of people don't like it. If you buy the Gears Season Pass, which is $30, you'll get the next year's worth of multiplayer DLC content for 45% off. I've actually bought it. The first DLC is going to be a Horde Command Pack, which is new maps and new features for the Horde mode. There's going to be a really cool single player content called Rom's Shadow, which is going to let you play as the villain from Gears of War 1. If you like third-person shooters, really high-paced actions intense matches and actually decent matchmaking. Thank you, Epic, for fixing the matchmaking because it was terrible before.
I do love the emphasis on team gameplay. You do have to coordinate with your
Really
team.
get your butt kicked really easily. Like,
Yeah, if you
he's really good at knowing that experience. You should. There's a ribbon for dying first in the match. He has the most.
I'm used to playing games like Halo where I go off my own. I love me the sawed-off shotgun.
The shotgun has always been a really big multiplayer weapon for years. It was very powerful in 1, very powerful in 2, and then they introduced this insane sawed-off shotgun, which from point blank you can kill 5 people at once.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very overpowered, very long reload time. That was kind of the trade-off. They've reduced the power, so it's harder to kill someone from up close. It's not as instant win as it was before. But with that, you have all the other heavy weapons. Mulcher, there's even like a huge meat cleaver now. There's this crazy weapon called the Digger, which digs a bomb underground. You can use a silverback in horde mode. Playing as the locust in beast mode, I don't know, but I love playing as a berserker and just everyone dies. Multiplayer in general, amazing.
I just love playing with Anya.
Wait till it unlocks the civilian version of her. God help us all. Okay, so story, you introduce it. Stronger focus on story, on characters.
Is it Epic Games?
Yeah, right? Really?